Now, peace and security issues are now topping the priority list for many African leaders. The recent coup in Mali, Boko Haram attacks in Nigeria, and several election-related conflicts have brought the conversation to the forefront in capitals across the continent. With the recent coup in Mali and other threats by al-Qaeda-linked terrorist groups like Boko Haram and al-Shabaab spreading fear across the continent, discussion on the issue of peace and security is prevalent in Washington. Mali is currently in the spotlight. Renegade soldiers recently ousted President Amadou Toumani Touré in a coup, angry over his government's inability to adequately arm them to quell a rebellion in the north by Tuareg fighters. The Tuareg want an independent state in northern Mali, a region they call Azawad. In a speech recently at the Woodrow Wilson Center in Washington, Burkina Faso Foreign Minister Djibril Bassole says Mali offers an insight into the complex nature of resolving conflicts. While the coup in Bamako is a setback to democracy, Bassole says the northern rebellion is a threat to regional security.
Une partie de ces groupes est maintenant en alliance stratégique ou tactique avec Al-Qaeda in Maghreb.
It seems that a part, or certain members of this rebel group, work in cooperation with AQIM, Al-Qaeda in the Islamic Maghreb. Therefore, this is no longer a traditional rebellion because you have Islamic fundamentalism, which is completely destabilizing the entire sub-region. This group has called itself Al-Qaeda in the Islamic Maghreb, but in Nigeria, for example, it's called Boko Haram. Boko Haram and AQIM want us to turn into Islamic states. They want us to apply the Sharia Islamic law.
Boko Haram is currently waging conflicts in the mostly Muslim northern parts of Nigeria. But Nigeria's ambassador to the U.S., Adebowale Adefuye, speaking at a recent discussion on security and stability in Nigeria at Howard University, played down the militant group's threat, saying it is a disgruntled group of citizens and that the government has the situation under control.
It is merely an attempt on the part of those who are political scholars to settle Goodluck Jonathan and are making use of the unemployed, the illiterates, and those who are refugees, economic refugees.
Howard University professor Suleiman Yang says Nigeria should not understate the conviction of Boko Haram.
The Boko Haram factor is a security and stability issue. The Boko Haram group has to be dealt with severely the way America dealt with terrorists.
Bassole says terrorist groups like Boko Haram are likely supported by drug and arms traffickers in the region. He says their growth is compromising the region's economies due to lost revenue from tourists and investors. Bassole also says the solution to these and other conflicts need to be addressed on a fundamental level.
The priority of priority is justice and development. Justice because we need all the citizens in each country to feel part of it and to share equally the power and the wealth. And development also because we all know that the lack of job, the lack of business opportunity can lead to a lot of frustration.
Eunice Reddick of the U.S. State Department says inequality has worked to Boko Haram's and other terrorist groups' advantage. She says the U.S. is working with Nigeria to help address some of the issues.
Youth who sometimes have no alternative will be attracted to the activities of organized crime, thuggery, extremism, and this is what we really need to deal with. And these are the root causes.
Ambassador Adefuye acknowledges that the Nigerian government has failed to address key concerns of the north, but he says all those concerns are now being addressed.
There are so many northerners in government now, they cannot say they are isolated. And so we continue. And President Jonathan's transformation program includes an agenda for total education of the country, including the north. Believe us, we are on our way, and this Boko Haram is just a temporary digression. We'll be okay.
Now, experts on peace and security in Africa say the best way to combat terrorism and other threats is to work together. They say cooperation between African countries ensures that borders are secure and citizens' needs are addressed and respected.